what again?
Is
1,
that 115?
115, 16.
19.
Hey, that board's wrong.
Okay,
It says for Thursday.
right, this should be 15, shouldn't it?
I've been in the day is so close to make that one.
Okay, so what we've done so far is we have learned two ways of solving systems of equations. The first one was, what was the first method we
By
used?
substitution.
Graphing, remember that? Right?
Oh, that.
We graphed on the same graph, you get two equations, you graph the first one, you graph the second one, and you're looking for that one point where they both touch, right? Where they connect.
What?
All right? Then the second way is called
Solving linear systems by substitution.
by
You want
substitution.
to bet?
Right, by substitution. Now, the homework tonight is going to be using the substitution method on word problems that actually I have taught a different way to you guys in the past. But many of you are a little rusty on these anyway, so it doesn't matter. We'll just, you'll learn this method.
Are you going to show us the second algebraic way as well?
I already did. Oh, the second, oh, no, yes, but not, maybe on Monday. Okay, it just depends on how well people do.
Tuesday?
On Tuesday, right. Monday's a holiday. Okay, so here's the problem, and I want you guys to write it as I write it, okay? So that, Skylar, you hear that? Write this as I'm writing, so that by the time I'm done, hopefully you are pretty much done. All right, this has to be in your notes, okay? You have to write the whole word problem. It says, one number
Like one then word?
is 4 times as large as another. Period. Their sum is 35. Find the numbers.
Aiden.
Oh, is this like what we did with the age? Is this like the age?
It's not good. We're not going to use a box.
When are we going to do the motion word problem? We were doing that on our shadow.
We'll get to those. We'll get to
Yes,
those.
Aiden. We'll get to
So
those.
system of equations. So basically, systems of equations are unbelievably useful, right? If you understand these, you can solve a huge, Jackson, I'm talking to you, buddy. If you understand this, systems of equations stuff and how to solve systems of equations, you can solve probably 3/4 of the word problems out there. I mean, seriously, it's that important.
What
There are
about that
so
one
many
quarter?
ways you can use this, okay? And so, in this particular case, let's look at this word problem. It says one number is 4 times as large as another. I'm not going to keep reading. I'm going to stop right there. One sentence at a time, okay? One number is 4 times as large as another. How many numbers are we talking about?
1, 2, X, 7, X.
How many numbers? It says one number, and then there says there's another number. So how many numbers are we dealing with?
2.
Two different ones, and we don't know which either one of them, right? So Manuk, stop. They're both unknown, am I correct? They're both unknown. So if we have two unknowns, what could we make them? What?
Unknown.
X and Y, right? Oh my God. So we could say one number, let's make one number Y,
Why would we make that Y?
and the next number, another number, we're going to make it X.
Why not?
It doesn't matter if you choose X instead of Y, but in general, by doing this, notice it's going to say Y equals, right? And sometimes we're just more used to Y equals something versus X equals something, right? In an equation. So it doesn't matter, but I would personally choose Y here and the X for the another. In the previous way I taught you to do this, you had this was always X, and then you wrote this in terms of X. But now we're doing two totally different numbers. So we got that number's Y and that number's X. We have two unknowns. We therefore need to have two equations. in order to solve it. If there were 3 unknowns, we would need 3 equations. If there were 4 unknowns, x, y, z, and a, we would need 4 equations. If there were 5 unknowns, we need 5 equations, right? Right? So,
Crazy talk, dude.
so in this case, there's only 2 unknowns. We need 2 equations. The first sentence is the first equation. Really easy. Okay, so Issa, help me with it.
The y
So one number, wait a minute, let's just do it slowly. Y
equals
equals
4x.
4 times as large as another x, 4x. Everybody agree with that?
I would.
Does that make sense? Sam, does that make sense to you? One number, y, is equals 4 times, that's 4, and if that had been a blob, I would put 4 parentheses, but since it's just an x, I don't really need the parentheses, it's just 4x. I could do 4 parentheses, x parentheses, but there's no need for it in this case. Does that make sense? Everybody gets that, right? Just for 5? Okay, so now we finished our first equation. Now our second equation says their sum is 35.
X plus y equals 35.
Right, makes sense, right? X plus y is equal to 35.
Why wouldn't you do 4x plus y equals 35?
Because you gotta do exactly what it says. It does not say 4 times one number is equal to, it says one number, that's y, is equals 4 times as large as x,
Yeah, but
4x.
what about their sum is 35? How would it be x plus y?
Yeah, x plus y.
Their sum is 35.
Because what does sum mean? You add the 2 numbers together, right? You see what I'm saying? See how that works? Okay? Okay, so what would I do to solve this? Yes.
So you circle the 4x and put an arrow to the y.
Okay, and I'm gonna put the arrow to the y. And now I rewrite it, right? I rewrite this one. I have x plus, instead of y, I have 4x, right? Equals 35. Beautiful. So how many x's do I have on this side, really? 5 x's? Okay, Skylar, help me finish it.
And then you divide each side by 5 and then x equals 7.
X equals 7 and we're done!
Yeah.
Oh wait, Skylar says we're not done. Keep going.
We define the y, so
Oh.
if x equals 7, then we need to plug that into the other equation. So then it would say,
4 times 7 is 28, right?
so y equals 28.
Beautiful. Look at that. We just solved it very quickly and very
Oh
easily.
my god.
And Gary,
Wait,
this
how-
is in like real life terms, could you say a popsicle's price is 4 times as large as
We're going to get to
ice
those.
cream?
The reason I didn't give you those is because sometimes there are, the other algebraic method, which I have not taught you yet. Sometimes that's an easier way to solve certain things. And for those kind of problems, solving them using the elimination method is easier. Okay?
Gary, that doesn't make sense. Why would you substitute? How could you substitute 4x? Oh, wait, never mind. Never mind. But when it is, never mind. Never mind.
You're good at
Sorry,
answering your own
I
questions.
don't
You're
know what I'm
easy.
saying.
This is an easy. It's easy to be a teacher when you ask a question. I just stand here and you answer it. You ask it, then you answer it. That's good. All right, very good. All right, fist to 5. Does that make sense? You guys really got it. Is there anybody that's questioning it?
Can we just start on our homework?
Questioning it
Do you
a
like
little bit?
4 more?
I'm questioning how you got the y.
Okay.
Oh, why?
I get it. 7.
Y, Zane, y.
Okay. There's 2 numbers, right? 2 unknowns. Right in the first sentence, it says there's 2 numbers. There's one number and another number. So I make the one number y, the another number x, and then I create my equation based on this. But you have to follow this word for word. You get that? Does that make sense? Y, one number, y, is equal 4 times as large as, that's 4 times x, right? And then their sum, x plus y is 35, yes.
So
And then
can
you.
you do one with 3 different numbers, or would that not be on the homework yet?
It's not going to be on the homework. Okay, question?
Can we
Yeah.
do a bunch more?
Because if, once I found out that x is 7, I go back to my original equations, and I've got y is equal to 4x, 4 times x. So substitute 7 in for x, 4 times 7 is 28. Does that make
Can
sense?
we do like a bunch
And
more?
then you can, even if you don't believe that, you can just add 7 plus 28, not equals 35.
Correct. Right, exactly.
That's
Okay,
Can we do a bunch?
can I erase this? Everybody
Yeah,
got it?
wait.
It's all in your
Also,
notes,
Why
right?
did you add it to the 4x? Wouldn't you just add it to the x plus y is
Yeah, that would
35?
be easy.
That would be easier.
Say what?
You put x in the place of 4x.
So Jackson, hang on a second, I can't hear.
So x is 7. You did 4 times 7.
Right.
But couldn't you just also do x plus y is 35? Couldn't you just make x 7
Oh, yeah,
plus y
I could have
35?
easily plugged it into this one. You can plug
So
it into
doesn't
either
matter
one.
which you plug
Makes
it into.
no difference which one of these you plug it into. Just as sometimes it's a quicker answer, do you know what I mean? And to me, that was pretty easy. But that's pretty easy too. I could have plugged in the 7 here and then subtract 7 from both sides and get 28. Right, it's 28, right? Okay, so now we're gonna do one more, and this one is actually on the homework. All right, I'm gonna do one on the homework. So,
Let's do a couple more, please.
yeah. What did I do with my sheet? Okay, here we go. How about, so I'll do number 4. This is number 4 in the homework, so make sure you've written it down in your notes, because it's a great example of how to do these, okay?
This is number 4 in the homework?
No, if you just put the answer on the homework, are we okay?
No, you gotta write it in.
No, it's just supposed to be titled, right? No, Gary, like if we say the answer is blah,
Just,
blah,
can you guys write this? One number is 5 more than another. That's pretty easy. Period. 3 times the smaller. 3 times the smaller is equal to 2 times the larger.
What was that?
Find the numbers. Find the numbers. So you guys, you can't be writing this while you're talking, so hopefully this is going to be
Well,
done.
whatever answer we get on here, can we just write that on the homework? Wait, is this number 4 in homework?
As long as you, see the thing is, you're gonna need this method. You're gonna need this method to solve all the other ones after this, right? So no, I want you actually to write this out on the homework. Is that clear? Then you can use it. Because what happens is people don't take their notes home. And then they don't know how to do it, right? And then they're lost for the last part. So Jackson, I need you to pay attention, okay?
I know how to do
All right.
it. I always take my notes home.
One number is 5 more than another, right? So how many numbers are we talking about?
2.
What am I going to make one number?
Y.
Okay, I'm going to make this y. What am I going to make another? X. Now, is it helpful to underline that word and put a y above it? And underline this word and put an x above it? Pretty helpful, right? Because then suddenly I know exactly what is what, right? Now I can solve it. I can actually write an equation for that first sentence. It says one number, y, now what I put is, equals 5 more than.
X plus 5.
It's,
just 5.
remember when it says more than or less than, you always move it to the right. More than what?
X plus 5.
More than Bella.
Yes.
Bella,
More than the x, right?
Bella
So
said
the
more.
x goes first, and then the plus 5 goes after the x. Now, I want to know if you understand that. Fist of 5, do you understand why the 5 went after the x?
It goes before the X.
No, it
It
doesn't.
goes after the x.
Wait, what?
Oh, never mind.
5 more than another. You have to have the another first, right? Before you can have 5 more than it, right? You can't just say that Isa is 5 more than, right? It doesn't work, right? You
5
gotta
more
have,
than X.
then what? You gotta have the thing first, and then plus
X
the
5
5.
more than?
Okay,
It's not grammatically correct.
it's beautifully said, Bella. I could not have said it better myself.
Gary, do you ever have problems that
I never had problems. I'm a math
Do
teacher.
you ever have math problems where you don't immediately get a y equals or an x equals? Like in this
Possible.
this
Yeah,
in
it's
this
possible.
one, you have like one number plus 6
Yeah,
is
it's possible.
5
But let's
more
focus on this one for now.
Well,
'cause I
then
don't
would be,
wanna, I don't wanna
another
confuse
would
people.
be X.
But it is possible. Yeah, it's totally
5
possible.
more than another.
Alright,
But you
so
don't
everybody's comfortable with our first, Skylar, where did you go? You didn't ask,
I was getting a pencil.
you didn't ask me, okay? I'd like you to ask me when you stand up now, okay? Have you been writing all this down, Skylar?
I have all of it down.
Okay, good. Alright, so everybody's comfortable with the first equation. Now let's look at the second one. 3 times the smaller. Now, how do I know which is smaller? It
Y
says
is smaller.
y is the same as x plus 5 more. Would you
Oh,
guys
y
agree?
is
that
bigger.
Y is bigger, x is
Would be
smaller, right?
3x.
So it might be helpful to just say y is big, right, and x is small, just so that I don't forget that. So it says 3 times the smaller, so 3x, right? This is going to be my second equation. 3x, 3 times the smaller, is equal to 2 times the larger. 2 times the larger is what? 2y.
2y.
Does everybody agree with that sentence? That equation?
You have question why y is bigger than x.
Okay, y is the same thing as an x, except that you have to add 5 more to the x to get to y,
Oh,
Right.
get to y, okay.
right?
Okay.
Make sense? Okay? Now, I circle my x plus 5, and that's the same as y, so I'm going to put an arrow to the y. And now I'm going to write my equation. 3x is equal to 2 times parentheses, because it's a binomial blob, x plus 5. Everybody should be totally there now. They get this part, right? After doing 2 nights of homework on this. And so now I just simplify by using my distributive property. So I have 3x is equal to 2x plus 10.
But then you have to subtract, no,
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 no.
then you
I know,
subtract
I know.
2x.
I subtract 2x from both sides. Oh, that's easy, because then that just gives me an x. X is equal to 10. Oh my god, that's awesome. So what is my y?
15.
My y is up here, right? 10 plus 5 is 15. So my y is 15.
Well, can we do a couple more?
No, because time's out.
Oh.
But that's basically it. So if you have both of these now on number 4, on the homework, I want you to write it out. Because that way you will practice it, okay? And so I'm going to give you the homework now. And then we will swap.